Hello and welcome back to WWE 2K20 Universe Mode, and we are here on the first SmackDown after Hell in a Cell, and we are on the road to Survivor Series. We are kicking things off today with a Survivor Series qualifying match. EC3 looking to claim his place on Team Survivor Series, the former Intercontinental Champion looking to get back in the good graces of SmackDown, looking to get back on the top of his game after losing the Intercontinental Championship to Buddy Murphy. But before we get started with the episode, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment down below. All of it really helps out and you do not want to miss what is coming up and Survivor Series. And of course, beyond Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania is all going to be coming up sooner rather than later. But EC3 tonight going up against Keith Lee. Of course, Lee came up short at Hell in a Cell, losing in the tag team match against Braun Strowman and Johnny Gargano. It was a close match indeed between those guys, but the monster amongst men, Braun Strowman, has been on such a tear lately. I don't really know where he stands, to be honest. He, of course, attacked Johnny Gargano after the match had finished, finishing that partnership with a proper full stop on that one. Braun Strowman definitely a man by himself, no interest in helping anyone else out. And of course, we still haven't really heard from Shane McMahon yet about what happened between him and Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman did put Shane through the windshield of a car backstage, and yeah, it wasn't a pretty sight. Shane McMahon, he is going to be back. He's going to be talking about what's going on with Survivor Series. I don't know whether it's this week or whether it's going to be next week, but Shane is in the building. He's just very focused. I'm trying to do what's the best for SmackDown going forward for Survivor Series. Of course, whoever wins Survivor Series, they get the number 30 spot in the Royal Rumble for their brand. So any SmackDown superstar or any Raw superstar would get the number 30 spot in the Rumble, and that is obviously huge. And it would mean a great deal for a Raw superstar or SmackDown superstar to main event the first WrestleMania here in Universe Mode. That would be a massive deal indeed. But not only that, the brand who wins a Survivor Series will also get the first pick in the draft post WrestleMania, and that could be a real game changer at that point. You're essentially going to choose what champion you want on your show, and maybe you don't even want a champion, maybe you want someone else, maybe you want to go wild and have someone like The Fiend as your number one draft pick. But it could really change up the show. And of course, there is a big money bonus in it as well. Batista wanting to spend that money to get his third mansion. I don't know what Shane would use that money for. Hopefully, actually invest it in SmackDown. But you never know. You never know how things are going to go entirely. But Shane is backstage. He's working hard and trying to get these plans for Survivor Series all completely ironed out. Trying to find the best men for Survivor Series. And EC3 and Keith Lee, both of these men would be great for the Survivor Series team. And sure, Keith Lee, he hasn't necessarily had the best win-loss record here in Universe Mode, but he has had some major matches, some major victories. He has always been on the cusp of the main event scene, just not being able to get into it entirely. Of course, he did have that Universal Championship match at Clash of Champions in that fatal four-way, but coming up short after Braun Strowman and Johnny Gargano's interference in that one. But that's kind of the closest he's got to being a champion here in Universe Mode. And you've got to think Keith Lee is definitely going to be a future champion. And EC3, he came in with such a fire underneath him. He went on an undefeated streak for a little bit, winning the Intercontinental Championship and then ultimately losing to Buddy Murphy. But he is looking to get back in the prime position here on SmackDown, looking to get himself up to that Universal picture. He's already held the IC Championship once. He doesn't want to hold it again. He wants to move up to the Universal Championship. That is what is on the mind of EC3. Both of these men, both with gold in mind. And EC3 almost had the match won there, but now Keith Lee using the strength, slamming down EC3 with one hand. One. Only a one count there. Surprisingly, EC3 was able to kick out so easily from that big slam there from Keith Lee with one hand. Being able to lift EC3 with one hand, not an easy task in the slightest. He may not be the biggest of men, EC3, but that muscle weight weighs a lot. You can't forget about that. And to be fair, EC3, he outsizes, he's taller than Keith Lee. At least that's what it seems like. It's a very close difference, at least. EC3 trying to do something at the ropes there, but Keith getting EC3 over the top rope. And now in he goes, throwing EC3 into the middle of the ring. Big slaps to the side of the head of Keith Lee there. And now down he goes with a 1%er. Is that enough for EC3? Picking him up again. But Keith Lee looking to try and get out of this, trying to get out, punches to the gut, to the midsection of EC3, getting out of the hold there, trying to prevent EC3 from gaining momentum. But EC3 grabbing Keith Lee, pulling him down to the mat, and now back in control once again. Big chop, but Keith Lee returning the chop to 3. It's a very strange way to call him, but you understand what I mean. Keith Lee now going for the pin. 1, 2, only a 2 count for Keith Lee. What a match between these two. I honestly do not know who is going to win this one. These two men very evenly matched, very different competitors. Wait a second though, this has got to be it. The Spirit Bomb from Keith Lee. And that has got to be it. 1, 2. No, my goodness. Okay, EC3 kicked out of the Spirit Bomb. Keith Lee cannot believe it. But he is calling EC3 to his feet once again, perhaps looking for a second Spirit Bomb. The second Spirit Bomb, yes he is. Another one. And once again, 1, 2, 3. Oh my goodness, EC3. He really has something in him to be able to kick out of 2 Spirit Bombs in a row. Unbelievable there from EC3. And now catching Keith Lee, getting him with the punch, and now... Wait a second, this has got to be it. Down he goes. Is that enough to put away Keith Lee? Is that enough? The move that helped EC3 win the Intercontinental Championship. 1, 2, 3. No. Keith Lee managing to kick out of that one. EC3 still not being able to put away Keith Lee. Just get these two men really going at it. It's taken a lot to put these men down. But wait a second. He's got him on his shoulders and down he goes. Is that enough? Is that enough for EC3? EC3 into the pin. 1, 2, 3. EC3 is moving forward to Survivor Series. Wow. Perhaps a bit of an upset there maybe, but EC3 back on his winning ways. Moving forward to Survivor Series, and that is definitely a good first pick for SmackDown for Survivor Series. EC3. Very big victory indeed for the former Intercontinental Champion. It's just what he needs to springboard his career back into the fast lane, into the premier lane of SmackDown. EC3, the first man to be on Team SmackDown for Survivor Series. Wow, indeed. And of course, at the moment being on Raw, we have Andrade and we have Sheamus in the Team Raw. EC3, well, let's see who his partners are gonna be. It's gonna be a difficult match indeed. Raw versus SmackDown at Survivor Series can be very interesting. But next I move into our tag team division here. Heavy Machinery, they're looking to get on a roll here on SmackDown. They need some big victories. They're looking for it. They've been asking for competition. They have been praying for competition. They want more action here on SmackDown. And well, it's been given to them. It's been given to them. The challenge has been answered. And they've got an interesting match here tonight. It's probably a good opportunity for Heavy Machinery to pick up a big victory here tonight. It just depends how this is going to work out. I'm not entirely sure, but it's going to be interesting to see who gets the victory in this one. And now comes our Intercontinental Champion Seth Rollins, accompanied by the Church of Rollins, Jackson Ryker and Eric Young. Now, it's very much a big size difference in this match. The Church of Rollins and the Heavy Machinery. Heavy Machinery completely outsized the Church of Rollins, and that was definitely shown at the beginning of this match. Otis was on top, but Eric Young managing to get out, trying to get a cheeky roll up on Otis at the beginning of this match, but it was not enough. Otis being able to power out when Jackson Ryker got in the match. Otis still on top, using his strength and outsizing both of these men, not allowing Young and Ryker to get in much action, but Ryker managed to prevent the tag and lifting Otis like he is nothing. Slamming him overhead was very impressive indeed. Being Kane Tucker eventually, and Tucker looked to take it to Eric Young. It looked like Heavy Machinery was going to have the big victory with this. Look at this, the strength of Tucker. One hand lifting Eric Young up and then just dropping him like he is nothing. It looked like that was going to be it for Heavy Machinery. Eric Young, though, preventing Otis from going for whatever he was looking for there. Getting in the big reversal and then pulling him into a roll-up. 1, 2, 3. Getting the big victory. Eric Young, Jackson Riker, the Church of Rollins getting the big victory here tonight. But wait a second. Riddle and Murphy trying to get their revenge on the Church of Rollins. Of course, Murphy lost the Intercontinental Championship to Seth Rollins. He is not cleared to compete right now. He's not cleared to be here on SmackDown, but taking the challenge to the Church of Rollins is Murphy and Riddle. And next up, we have another Survivor Series qualifying match. It is going to be a tag team contest. Whichever tag team wins this match will get the opportunity to be in the Survivor Series match. I'd say the opportunity, they will be in the Survivor Series match, the women's 4v4 match. And Asuka and Kairi Sane teaming up here tonight once again, the Kabuki Warriors. Kairi Sane, of course, a former SmackDown Women's Champion. Definitely someone you would want on your Survivor Series team. And Asuka, she has been at the top of the SmackDown Women's division for quite a while. She has been very close to getting her hands on that championship, but it just hasn't worked out for her so far. Of course, as a tag team, they could end up going for those SmackDown, those women's tag team champions, I should say, not SmackDown tag team champions. They could go for those women's tag team champions held by Dakota and Nia, but at Survivor Series it will be Dakota and Nia versus a Raw team, because it's Survivor Series, it has to be SmackDown versus Raw. So a Raw team will be chosen for that match by Batista. We'll have to wait and see who it is, but the Riott Squad teaming up here tonight looking to get a big victory. This would be a big upset if the Riott Squad could beat Asuka and Kairi Sane here tonight, to be honest. Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan, not necessarily done too well in Universe mode as singles competitors, but as a tag team, this could be the real turning point for them. Remaking the Riott Squad, bringing it back together. This could be a big deal for Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan. This could be the change they need, potentially future women's tag team champions. But Asuka and Ruby Riott going out at the beginning of this match. Asuka slamming Ruby down to the mat there. Of course, Sarah Logan on the outside as well, adding a bit more heat to that Riott Squad. And now Asuka going over to the corner looking for the tag with Kairi Sane, but Ruby managing to reverse, and Kairi getting the tag in on Asuka's arm there. Another former SmackDown Women's Champion taking it to Ruby Riott, going up to the top rope. Looking for that big elbow maybe, but no, instead turning around for a big moonsault, but Ruby getting her knees up, preventing the full impact landing there. And now big kick to the chest of Kairi Sane. Of course, at Survivor Series we will also be seeing the SmackDown Women's Champion Sasha Banks go one-on-one with the Raw Women's Champion Alexa Bliss, which I'm sure will be a very interesting match. We haven't seen Alexa Bliss as the Raw Women's Champion for very long. She only won that championship the week before Hell in a Cell, and well, we don't know how she is going to be as a champion. Really, we haven't really seen what her potential is yet. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But Sasha Banks, we know what's going through her head at the moment. She came up with a big loss at Hell in a Cell, and I'm sure that's probably affecting her thinking right now. Managing to lose to Nia Jax, Dakota Kai, Sasha Banks and Bayley were trying to win those tag team championships, trying to prove who is really the dominant force in the women's division, who is the best champion here on SmackDown in Universe mode. And Nia and Dakota got the win, but it's not only that. Dakota Kai pinned Sasha Banks, the SmackDown Women's Champion, in the middle of the ring, and that is something. That is really something. Sasha Banks, not really someone who gets pinned very often, and Dakota Kai pinning her in the middle of the ring. Got to think that has got to mean a future SmackDown Women's opportunity for Dakota Kai. But I have heard there's a little bit of tension between Nia Jax and Dakota Kai. They're a little bit they're sure of each other now. Dakota maybe, I don't think Dakota's necessarily full of herself, but potentially a bit more confident after getting that victory over Sasha Banks. And Nia, potentially a bit jealous. Of course, it was Nia who was the one who was going around parading this idea that she is the greatest champion in universe mode. And well, they did kind of prove it. It's hard to judge them compared to the other divisions, of course, but they did prove that they are dominant champions here in universe mode. Just have to see whether this SmackDown Women's Championship is going to come between Nia Jax and Dakota Kai, but of course all of this will take place after Survivor Series. They still have to get through Survivor Series, hold on to those Women's Tag Team Championships. That is their job for now, and of course we don't know what the team they will face will be yet. We will have to wait and see, but Ruby Riott with a big super kick to the face of Kairi Sane, and now looking to take down Kairi, trying to take advantage, trying to keep things going. Kairi Sane's taken a lot of injury in this match. She's really been worked over, needs that tag to Asuka. Oh, but a nice reverse back fist there from Kairi Sane to the face of Ruby Riott, knocking her down. And Kairi looking for that tag to Asuka. Is she going to get it finally? No! Ruby getting the leg up, getting the kick to the face, and now German suplex to Kairi Sane. The Riott Squad really doing the smart thing here, working down one of the women in this match. Working down Kairi Sane right now, not wanting Asuka to get back in here. You can't forget, of course, Kairi Sane, a former SmackDown Women's Champion who is being beaten down right now by the Riott Squad. These tag team fundamentals doing wonders for them. And now Ruby getting the tag into Liv Morgan right now. Very good quick tags between these guys, making sure neither one of them gets too tired. And Kairi Sane is in a really bad position right now, desperately needing that tag to Asuka. Liv Morgan, the big right hand to the face of Kairi, and she just collapses down to the mat. And now, oh wait a second though, Kairi Sane getting the leg up, kick to the face of Liv Morgan. Is this the opportunity that she was looking for? Catching Liv's leg again, and now kicking Liv into the corner, but Liv getting the leg up once again, preventing the tag, and now taking Kairi Sane down to the mat with a knee to the back. Ruby Riott getting the tag in right now. Ruby and Kairi back in the middle of the ring, but Kairi, big spear to Ruby Riott, and now Asuka with the tag, getting the tag finally. This is what this team needed. They needed to get the tag to Asuka. It's very important indeed. Asuka now getting Ruby up to her feet. Ruby though getting the reversal, kicking to the leg of Asuka. But Asuka, big roundhouse kick. Quick reversals between these two women right now. Taking down Asuka with a drop kick does Ruby Riott. Asuka rolling to the outside, trying to get to safety away from Ruby Riott. But Ruby kicking to the legs of Asuka. But Asuka getting the reversal, elbow to the side of the head of Ruby Riott. These two women really going at it right now. Lots of reversals, lots of strikes. This is definitely a different side of Ruby Riott than we've seen before. The Riott Squad definitely a good place for Ruby and Liv to be. I wouldn't have expected either of them to last this long against Asuka or Kairi Sane before, but as a tag team, they are doing so much better. Taking it to Asuka, but Asuka over the top, landing on her feet. And now Asuka trying to get something, but not being able to take advantage. Ruby with a big headbutt to Asuka, taking her down to the mat. And now looking for that tag to Liv Morgan, potentially. Yes, she is. Liv back in the match with Asuka. And all down she goes into that submission, once again looking to make Asuka tap out, looking to put her to sleep as Liv Morgan pulls, wrenches on the neck of Asuka. But Asuka managing to get out of it, managing to prevent Liv Morgan from making her submit. But Liv still in control right now, but Asuka, oh never mind, Asuka, big boot to the face, taking Liv Morgan down to the mat, and this is now Asuka's opportunity, her opportunity to work down Liv Morgan. Of course, whoever wins this match will be moving forward to Survivor Series. This is a qualifying match for the Women's Survivor Series team. And, oh, wait a second, Asuka lock. Is this going to be it? Is Liv Morgan going to be forced to tap out in the middle of the ring? Can she escape the Asuka lock? Or is this going to be it for Liv Morgan? Liv Morgan is stuck in there. There is nowhere to go. She is in the middle of the ring. There is nowhere for her to go. Ruby Riott, nowhere to be seen. Can she hang on for long enough? Or is she going to be forced to tap out? Or just fall unconscious in the middle of the ring? Wait a second, Liv though. Liv fighting out of the Asuka lock. Elbow to the head, forcing Asuka to relinquish the lock. And now Riott Liv Morgan, I apologise, trying to go for some big move there, but Asuka catching the leg, preventing it. Liv desperate for the tag, gets it to Ruby Riott. Ruby back in the ring, looking to go flying now. Needing to go flying, needing to take down Asuka, needing to come back into this match and do as much damage as possible, not wanting to get hit, because obviously Liv Morgan is not in a good position right now. She is pretty much out of it. I don't know how she got out of that Asuka lock. It was just instinct that eventually she was able to get enough fire in her belly to be able to fight out of that and get that elbow to the head. But Ruby needs to fight back. Can't let Asuka take advantage of her right now. Asuka getting Ruby back up to her feet. And wait a second, the Asuka lock again. Liv Morgan's out on the outside. Liv Morgan nowhere to be seen. Ruby stuck in the middle of the ring again. Can she escape the Asuka lock just like Liv Morgan did, or is this gonna be it? Is Ruby gonna be forced to tap or go unconscious in the middle of the ring? She is forced to tap out, tapping out in the middle of the ring. Liv Morgan only just getting to her feet to see what has happened, but Asuka and Kairi Sane getting the huge victory here tonight, moving forward to Survivor Series. We have the first 2 women on our SmackDown Women's Survivor Series team. And of course, we already know the Raw team. The Raw team, it's going to be an interesting one, the Raw team, because obviously there's a lot of bickering. There's a lot of people who don't get along in that team, especially Becky Lynch and Shayna Baszler, 2 women who do not get along in the slightest. But Kairi Sane and Asuka definitely on the same page, and they prove that here tonight. Maybe that is going to be what gets the victory for SmackDown at Survivor Series. But we will have to wait and see. We move on to some women's single action now. Our SmackDown Women's Champion in action tonight, going up against Tamina. Tamina's debut here in Universe Mode. And well, she's definitely a woman who has a lot of size advantage, a lot of power advantage. And she's looking to use that here tonight as she takes on Sasha Banks, looking for a big upset against the SmackDown Women's Champion Sasha Banks here tonight. And it would be a big upset indeed if she could pin Sasha Banks. But Sasha Banks here tonight, looking with something to prove after what happened to Hell in a Cell. Like I mentioned earlier, Dakota Kai pinned Sasha Banks in the middle of the ring in that Women's Tag Team Championship match. But of course, the Survivor Series, it will be Alexa Bliss versus Sasha Banks. But we can't forget what happened to Hell in a Cell. Sasha Banks not in a good mental space tonight and needs to prove herself again, needs to prove back to herself that she can do this. And well, it looked like she was going to do this pretty easily, getting in that bank statement, but Tamina managed to get out of it, get into a roll-up, almost had the victory over Sasha Banks, but at 2.9, Sasha kicking out. It looked like that was going to be it, but Sasha continued to work on Tamina, using the top ropes, using everything to her power to be able to outwork the larger woman. And it just came down to this. Move the Sasha, she used to put away lots of people at this point. When it's not the bank statement, it's always this. And Sasha got the big victory tonight over Tamina, getting her confidence back after that loss to Dakota Kai. And I'm sure after Survivor Series, Dakota Kai will be purely in the sights of Sasha Banks, but for now, she has to concentrate on Alexa Bliss, the Raw Women's Champion. We move into our main event of the evening, and we have another Survivor Series qualifying match. Sane looking to get the team all ready so they have enough time to gel as a unit. Definitely something that Shane wants to work on. But Daniel Bryan here tonight, he's an interesting case. Daniel Bryan has been struggling in Universe Mode ever since he was in the first Universal Championship match. Came up short to Seth Rollins in that one, and since then he's had a few victories. He's managed to get himself into positions where he could get championship gold, but at SummerSlam he lost to EC3 for the Intercontinental Championship. He's just not been able to get those big wins, and a few weeks ago, Rusev managed to defeat Daniel Bryan in the middle of the ring, 1, 2, 3, tapping, not even 1, 2, 3, I apologise, making him tap out to the Accolade, all because of The Miz's interference in that match. The Miz and Rusev, since filming their movie together, they have been on such a tear together. And sure, it's mainly just been due to The Miz or Rusev interfering in the matches. And of course, Miz straight away running to the outside, wanting to try and take advantage of Bryan as he tries to follow The Miz. And The Miz now trying to get away from Daniel Bryan, going straight over to Rusev to go and hide behind his co-star in Awesome the Movie, wanting to hide away behind Rusev. But Daniel Bryan now chasing The Miz. And that's what The Miz has been doing. He's been running away and trying to take advantage of his people who have been chasing him. But Bryan, definitely the more technical wrestler in this one by a mile. Bryan and Miz, you'd have to think, if you just put these two in a one-on-one match and there was no shenanigans at all, like 9 out of 10 times you've got to give this match to Daniel Bryan. I think you would easily be able to put away The Miz. But with The Miz's recent track record and Rusev by his side, the cheating and the distractions, who knows in this one, who knows, but Daniel Bryan needs this victory tonight. He has desperately been searching for a big victory. He needs something. He's struggling. He doesn't really know where he is at the moment being. He feels very lost in himself, in SmackDown, in his position here, not knowing where he really lies. Is his career coming to an end? Does he still have a place here on SmackDown? Daniel Bryan is desperately trying to find that. He is trying to prove that he deserves that. And for him, it's all about the gold. It's all about holding some form of gold. He needs to prove they can go to a pay-per-view, get a big, big victory, and win some gold. Wait a second, The Miz taking down the referee. Daniel Bryan with the steel steps. Just probably trying to move them away from Miz, I guess. But Miz taking advantage, hitting Bryan with those steel steps while the referee was down. Not good at all from Miz. Miz taking advantage of the referee. And that's what Miz has been doing recently. It's just exactly what he's been doing. It's been his MO for weeks now. Cheating, using Rusev. And when Rusev's been in there, Miz has been doing all the cheating. But it's not always worked so well. Like, you look back at the Rusev Daniel Bryan match, sure, Rusev did get the victory in that one, but Miz almost cost it for Rusev. He distracted Rusev, and that was a very, very close roll-up from Daniel Bryan. The 2.999. Miz almost cost the match for Rusev, and that I don't think Rusev would have taken that too well, to be honest, but we'll have to see how that works out tonight. Can Daniel Bryan put away The Miz to be a big, big victory? If he can, it'll be a good path to redemption for Daniel Bryan. Like I said about him feeling lost and not knowing what he's doing here. Like, putting The Miz behind him, putting this whole nonsense with The Miz and Rusev behind Daniel Bryan. But oh my god! Daniel Bryan just landed on those steel steps. Those steps that had been put there after the attack from The Miz earlier in the match. Daniel Bryan just got dropped onto those steel steps, and the referee didn't entirely see what had happened. But now The Miz going for the roll-up, but too close to the ropes. That must have been a very painful landing for Daniel Bryan, landing straight onto those steel steps, and not even the top, the actual stairs part. The bits with the pointy edges were really going to dig into you and cause you a lot of pain. But Daniel Bryan, he has not given up, trying to get the crowd behind him, needing to feel that love from the crowd. That while Daniel Bryan has been feeling lost, I think that's also been dwindling. The crowd not so much interested in Daniel Bryan right now, more interested in the newer stars here on SmackDown, more interested in the Ricochets and Ali's and the Ciampas and all these people who are just doing good stuff here on SmackDown. People are not so interested in Daniel Bryan anymore. But Daniel Bryan's still trying to get that back, trying to get the yes movement back on his side. Miz though grabbing the leg of Bryan and taking him down. You've got to think, if he hadn't been for that drop onto the steel stairs and the attack from the stairs by The Miz, whether Daniel Bryan would be doing a lot better in this match. This could already be over. He could have already submitted The Miz in the middle of the ring. The Miz now throwing Daniel Bryan over the top rope. What is Miz looking for here? Just pulling him back in, slamming his legs down. The Daniel Bryan's legs kind of landing a bit awkwardly there. But Daniel Bryan immediately catching The Miz with a leg twist, pulling him down to the mat. And now up he goes. Wait a second. Daniel Bryan throwing Miz up in the air. Got the yes lock in, but Miz too close to the ropes. Daniel Bryan trying to go flashy, trying to impress the crowd, but it cost him there. It cost him. If he'd done that in the middle of the ring, this could have been it. But instead he threw Miz up in the air out of nowhere, trying to prove to the crowd that he's worth something still. And Daniel Bryan, too close to the ropes. Not something you'd expect Bryan to make a mistake on. Miz, over the top he goes. And wait a second, Miz. Skull-crushing finale, skull-crushing finale. Is that going to be enough? But again, another mistake in this one. Daniel Bryan too close to the ropes again. But this time for the benefit of Bryan. Bryan getting his hand there, getting the rope break, preventing the loss from the skull-crushing finale. And wait a second, Bryan throwing Miz to the outside, and we know what he's looking for here. Running to the other rope and suicide. Not a suicide dive, I apologise, he tricked me. He managed to get his legs through the middle ropes, kicking Miz straight in the face. That movie star face of the Miz, which he doesn't like being hit. But Miz getting his revenge, throwing Daniel Bryan into the ring post. Now Miz going under the ring. What is he looking for here? A kendo stick, just like what he used before against Daniel Bryan. The Miz dropping that kendo stick in the middle of the ring, catching the referee. The referee didn't entirely see what was going on. Rusev with a little distraction. The referee down. Daniel Bryan, though, taking advantage of the Miz, not allowing Miz to get to that kendo stick, catching the leg of Miz. The Miz not being allowed to get to that kendo stick. Daniel Bryan preventing it right now. But that kendo stick still there in the middle of the ring. Daniel Bryan trying to get Miz over the top rope. Big suplex over the top rope. Dropping Miz onto that kendo stick in the middle of the ring. Could this be the opportunity that Daniel Bryan was looking for? Being able to outsmart the Miz here. Being able to prevent him from using that kendo stick. But Miz catching the leg. Catching the kick. The Miz now, Russian leg sweep, taking down Daniel Bryan. And wait a second, Miz talking to Rusev for a second, and again, taking down the referee. This match probably should have been made into a DQ by now. But the referee not being able to call it because he is out. And the kendo stick shots to Daniel Bryan, but Daniel Bryan managed to get a kendo stick shot back to the Miz. He managed to get one in on the Miz as well. Both these men taking the kendo stick shots. Who is going to be able to pick up the big victory in this one? Daniel Bryan, the double underhook suplex there to Miz, going for the pinfall one. Only a 1 count. Miz managing to kick out of that one somehow. And now Bryan calling for it, is calling for that yes look, this time being sensible. Middle of the ring. This has got to be it. But Miz escaping the yes look, getting over the top of Daniel Bryan. And now a roll up on the Miz, but too close to the ropes. Too close to the ropes. Who is going to be able to pick up the victory in this one? Miz slamming Daniel Bryan's head down to the mat. The Miz so close. Daniel Bryan, both these men, they have worked so hard, and you can't deny Miz has cheated in this one. He used those steps, he used the kendo stick, but the knee plus. Miz just hit Daniel Bryan's finisher on Daniel Bryan. The Miz knocking down Daniel Bryan with the knee plus. Is that enough? 1, 2, 3. Oh my goodness, the Miz. Insult to injury, using Daniel Bryan's own finishing move to put him down. Of course, this match, I don't think Miz would have stood a chance if it wasn't for dropping Daniel Bryan onto those steel steps like that. The attack from the steps, dropping him onto the steel steps. From the apron, that was a drop and a half onto those steps, onto the pointed steps of the steel stairs. And then the kendo stick shots in from the Miz. Of course, Daniel Bryan managed to get one shot back to the Miz, but it wasn't enough. Miz managing to avoid the S-log for the second time. And then, insult to injury, the knee plus to Daniel Bryan, and Miz joins EC3 in the Survivor Series team for SmackDown. Wow, what a duo, EC3 and the Miz moving forward to Survivor Series. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.